People are strange. Something strange.
Is that strange?
That is strange.
That is strange.
Wow, that is strange. This is strange.
And welcome back to another episode of Strange Sauna. It's going to be a steamy episode, you guys. This one, I have two awesome friends joining me. Randall, the whiskey shaman, first time on the show.
What's up, guys?
Thanks for joining me, brother.
Thanks for having me.
And then,
Thanks.
yeah, and then returning champ, we have Flex. Flex was on the show. There we go. Flex was on the show on our other controversial conversation where we were talking about what was it? Save the Children. What was this document?
It was a lot of stuff, but it was like the food industry and
it was Jim Caviezel, his movie that was
his movie.
Psyop.
Yeah, we went all over the place.
All right. Well, yeah. So today we've been talking about this all week. This has been something that's been on my mind. It's the Trump assassination attempt. Things that just don't add up about it. Things that, I mean, I think it's an inside job, but it's even more twisty and turny than that. I think we're going to explore, was this thing a whole setup? Was this faked in order to garner some support for Trump? Make him more of the Messiah role? I mean, as you guys know, I did a 4-part series on Trump being the Antichrist figure. Still not sold completely on that, but I mean, more and more is coming out, to fit the Revelation 13.3 mortal head wound type of thing. So, where do you guys want to start? I'm willing to go wherever the hell you guys want to go.
Oh boy. All right. I'll start it just because I've written a whole bunch of notes here, and I've chatted with some people in our group privately about this, and they were like, yeah, you know, and this is opinion only. I like when all the broadcast people say that. Yeah. I haven't followed anybody and go, oh, I'm taking his notes on stuff. I've just gone through what I've seen. Uh-huh. I've been in the film industry. I know how acting works and film angles.
I'm glad you brought that up, dude, because you have your own independent horror film, dude. So know blood, you know the fake shooting, you know all this stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm not here to offend anybody. I'm just basically saying, listen, everything we see on TV and everything we see is energy harvesting. The one side does it and the other side does it. Every music video and award show and Super Bowl, it's energy harvesting,
right up there.
Pornography. And we need something on the other side. And I feel the Trump movement is an energy harvesting for good or bad. Right off the bat, I'm 50-50 on Trump. I used to be 100%, but I'm 50-50 now because I have to take things with a grain of salt and use discernment.
Yep.
Because it gets dangerous if you don't. And I think that's what we're worried about, and Randall and I are always in the live chat when you guys are on Rumble. And
yeah.
him and I are like, yeah, brother, like you're all talking about the same thing. So
well, yeah, and so I'm glad you brought that up because discernment is one thing that kind of goes out the window when you start being emotional about a political candidate, even somebody like Elon Musk, who I've voiced my concerns about him. I mean, the things that he's funding and just the surveillance machine that he is generating right now. And people don't really pay attention to that because he allows free speech on Twitter, but not freedom of reach. So that's just one thing is where, you build up this character to the point where he represents a movement. Trump has become a martyr, whether or not he's dead or alive. He's already created the MAGA martyr system. So to me, if they really wanted Trump dead, he would have been killed with a heart attack gun a long time ago. He would have been taken out before he became president to stop this swelling of this MAGA movement, right?
Or they would have never missed.
Right? So that's what absolutely. I'm saying. Or they would have had like the best crew on this, but they wouldn't have done it in this public manner, right?
No.
It's just, unless you go down like the whole King Kill ritual, that kind of public assassination type of thing. But I don't know.
What's
Whiskey.
your thoughts on it, Randall?
Yeah. What's your
Okay,
thoughts?
okay. So my thoughts get a little bit more biblical, because that's the way I lean. Everybody is saying that Trump, Biden, all of them are either the Messiah or Lucifer, one of the two.
Yeah.
And my thing is, we as America, as people of the world, it doesn't matter, where you're at. We put all of these celebrities and these people on a pedestal, and we make them like gods.
Yep.
And so what happens is we are internally vested in these people, and when something happens to them, we have a visceral reaction to that. And so for us to do that, and do you even know these people? You don't even know them. You know what they say to you from their script that was written by somebody who doesn't get paid enough, probably. And so it's like it turns into a very it's distraction. It's a lot of deceiving. It's a lot, and so that's where I lean into the whole thing. Yes, and with the shooting, and I know we're fixing to go into that. There's a lot of things that are just not right. And but then everybody's still like, oh my God, what happened? Oh, we got to do something about it. And they're talking about civil war and all of this stuff. And it's like, okay, calm down. Let's talk about this like rational adults, which we hopefully all are, which some of us aren't adults. And I get that mentally or physically or spiritually, whatever. But like, it's one of those things where you have to come at this with all the facts. And I hope today that I have no notes, whereas Flex has all the notes. So whereas we come at this with a way where we're only going to talk about what is out there in the news and what they're talking about, because that's the only thing we have to go on. I wasn't personally there, and I don't think any of us were. So we didn't see firsthand what happened. We're getting second, third, fifth hand, deep fake stuff. That's what we're getting. So that's how I feel about it. I know that went a little off, but that's where
it's all good, brother. It's all good.
You're right on point, and that's why this is not to offend people. Because right out of the bat, my first thing I have on my notes is I believe this was a white hat. If you still believe in white hats, I think it was a white hat psyop. I think it was a white hat false flag. And why I say that is I remember 3-4 years ago when I was deep into all this. I can't remember who said it, but I heard several times this one person on a podcast say, there is a fight for humanity spiritually a lot. We all can see it. We all feel it. We all can see it. There's a fight for something here. And sometimes you have to, and this is the word that he used, mirror what the bad guys are doing. And to mirror that, sometimes you have to take on a role or a situation, play fire with fire is what he said.
Yeah.
And I've always thought about that being like, maybe the Trump the FBI look at Mar-a-Lago could have been a white hat psyop. All the stuff that he's been charged with could be a white hat psyop. A white hat psyop is not necessarily a bad thing. And I know people are going to be like, but somebody died. And I'm like, we'll get to that. And I have notes on that. Because right here on my sticky note, just to remind me, it says, just because the media tells us something doesn't mean it's the truth from both sides. And right now, both sides.
So that's the thing, too, is, everybody talks about the media, how they distrust them so much, and like how they've lied about COVID, they've lied about Trump, they've lied about war. But when Trump gets shot, we trust everything they say. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like, that's where you need to realize, oh, wait, I have some emotional attachment to this, and I need to take a step back and really analyze what they're trying to sell me right now. Even if it is Trump working to sell you a story. And if it is this whole white hat operation now, this is one avenue that I'm still willing to accept that Trump might be doing. And he might be deceiving everybody by going down this road as like the Jewish Messiah or like by the victim, because this entire mirage of him being the victim and then slipping on the banana peel and landing on his feet and doing the happy dance, you know what I mean? Gaining popularity with every single attack. It behooves me to think that we have this, for lack of a better word, glorious deep state that is so intelligent and entwined and like rooted ivy, finding ways to slip through the narrowest of cracks within our system, within our judicial system, within our education system, healthcare, that they're so inept when it comes to Trump that no matter what they do, they can't just see that no matter what I do, if I attack him more, it will only help him. Why can they not see this? Are they dumb, or are they doing this intentionally?
I think it's cognitive dissonance, which we're having now on the right side. A lot of this mimics 9/11, and that's further in my notes. But reason why I say that is when we go back and see 9/11, even 20-something years later, we go, that doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense, to the point where it's like, it's very obvious, like a 9/11 being like, that doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. But we get upset at people that don't see that still and think the government or whoever wasn't involved. Now we're in a situation where I'm like, well, why are we not seeing this? And I think there's two possibilities here. And I wrote here, I said, a PSYOP designed to influence behavior of the people to act a certain way, or it was a natural synchronization that basically did the same thing. It was this natural phenomenon that he just turned his head at the right time, or it was a PSYOP designed to influence behavior, but they both did the same thing. A lot of behavior was influenced by this on the same realm. So it's trying to figure out, and I know people will be like, well, why would Trump? Listen, Trump's playing a role. If we believe the fact that he was invited by or asked by the military to go as president, and he's been president for the last 4 years secretly, which a lot of people think, and he's allowed America to slip, but it's okay. And people have lost their homes and jobs and killed themselves and all this, but we've allowed America to slip. But we can't believe that maybe they planned this ahead of time. And I'll explain why I think that was the case. It's the same objective, whether it was a hand of God situation or an actual PSYOP, where the behavior changed immediately on him.
Well,
for the better, like you said, Greg, for the better.
Not only that, but like if it was not the hand of God, he sure is playing it up like it was the hand of God, where he had, it happened at 6:11. People are pointing out Ephesians 6:11, wearing the armor of God. He talks about how he shouldn't be alive at the RNC speech and how, God was there. I shouldn't be here, but God watched my back. But it's like, so the other guy who got killed, God just was saying bye-bye to him. He was just a pawn in this game, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think, Whiskey?
Okay, my turn. So it turns into, so everybody, on one side, Trump bad guy, on the other side, Trump good guy. There's not a middle ground. And the middle ground are the ones that are like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but something's going on. And if we're getting into actual footage and we're getting into actual things that have happened day of, there are so many things that are just construed. Let's go to the biggest moment, and I don't know if we're ready to get into that.
Yeah, let's go there. Yeah.
But the fact that he was able to raise his fist up and say, fight, but no, I'm sorry.
No.
The Secret Service, their job is to protect the president. They have him on the ground, wheeling his ass out of there. He's a big old boy, I know that, but they can pick him up and take him away from the situation. They don't give him the chance to do the thing.
Well,
right?
just to stop you there, because the pushback would be, well, he was given the C team or even the possible D or F team. You know what I mean? Like the people were short. There were some women there that were inept. There were some men there that were inept. So it's like, how could you possibly expect him to, of course he's going to pump his fist out because they just weren't good.
But
unfortunately, bullshit.
But okay, if I was shooting at you, and I'm not, but if I was, you're not going to be like, oh, somebody just tried to shoot me, I'm going to do this. Your first action is to get away from the problem,
or make sure you're dead.
First reaction, your first reaction is to get out after you poop your pants, is to get out of there and just be like, let's get to safety. Then we'll talk about how brave I was. Let's get to safety. No, he got that. the T-shirt, the slogan of the year
The,
type.
the most
type
perfect
type
angle, dude. Like you couldn't ask for a better like freaking poster screenshot for your campaign.
No.
You know what I mean?
No,
So
absolutely.
that I've said that too. I've said, even if the security was your C team, they would not allow you to get off that fucking floor. Excuse my French, but I'm just saying, like, they didn't know if there were multiple shooters or not. And so my thing is, if you killed the one guy, that's fine. But how do you know? This was like all within a matter of seconds. Like, you have to do like a perimeter check within a couple minutes and be like, hey, we verified, we're 100% clear, let's start moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I totally agree. That was the first thing. I was sitting right here and I turned my head. I had the TV on because my friend messaged to me saying Trump just got shot at it. And the first thing I saw is when he stood up, threw his fist up in the air. And it's an iconic, almost exact photo from World War II. There's a World War II iconic photo that's exactly the same. And again, we're talking about energy harvest here. It's energy, getting this energy. But the fact of the matter is, and people will say that the Secret Service said, we're clear, we're clear, we're clear. You don't know you're clear because now they've come out saying there was a guy on the water tower. And now they're going to come out and say there's some guy in a tree.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, we don't know that. They didn't know that. You protect this guy. He's wide open right here. I got a photo of it, of his head being shot, his chest. He raises his fist again when he's at the car. And forget about the bumbling Secret Service. It's just the fact of the matter is, if they wanted him dead, they wouldn't have missed. It wouldn't have dead. So I, on my next notes here, I wrote, then why do this then? So this is where I said, when I was talking to our group of friends and they were like, okay, so why is it a white hat operation? I said, they had to get ahead and play the deep state's hand if you believe there's black hats and white hats. I'm not a black pill. I'm not a red pill. I'm not a purple pill. Pills are drugs and I'm drug free. I'm in the middle from now on. That's it.
Okay. All right.
For that reason, because that keeps us all kind of, hey, let's use our discernment. Because I know there's going to be people saying, I've gone black pill the last couple of years and I was fully red pilled. And I don't like those terms. I'm looking at what's in the middle. And I sat there and said, I believe the Trump camp, or I'll call them white hats, I'll still use them as white hats, knew something was coming. And I think what they tried to do here, I said, I think they were trying to get ahead of the game. They needed to stage this. I know people will be like, but someone died. I said, just let me get through my points here before you get in the comments and get all upset.
Yeah.
They needed to get ahead of this because I think the plan was either to assassinate him. I actually think it was to assassinate Biden, and that's why it forced their hand to get him out of office sooner. There was something that was happening where I'm like, if they did this assassination attempt and they staged it, they can't play that card now. They can't. They'll have a very difficult time trying to do an assassination of Biden or Kamala or Trump again. They needed to get ahead of the plot. And we have to remember, guys, if we keep saying this is like a movie, it is. You have one side, and I've been waiting for the white hats to do their PSYOP for ages. I kept saying there's going to be a white hat PSYOP eventually. I thought it was the court cases. I thought it was the raid on his place. As soon as I saw this, I was upset at first, obviously, because you got to get all your information in. But I was like, they got wind of something ahead of time.
Well,
remember, they got to win at all costs. They got to mirror it. And
let me ask
the
you,
deep
though.
states, yeah.
Because if this was intentional and this was planned by the, quote, white hats,
Yes.
then it wasn't a real bullet that passed Trump's head then, because they wouldn't take that risk, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
Right. Yeah.
Then what was it? Was it they bowed down and cut his ear, maybe some fake blood? Who knows, right?
I see footage of him where he doesn't look like he's got a hole in his ear.
Yeah.
I've cut my ear clipping my hair, and it bled like a pig. And the fact of the matter is, yes, I think, it could have been a sonic weapon they used. He could have been cut by the glass if it was a real bullet. I think that there wasn't a real bullet. I think, that's when he went down. It's WWE in some sense. I know we all talk about it, but almost 40 or 50% of the comments now are saying this is staged on Trump's end, and these are Trump supporters being like, he gets up, he's got no blood on his face. And then when the Secret Service, I got that video too, then there's blood there. I just look at the ear being like it would have bled out way more. He would have not let go of that ear. They would have put pressure on that ear. And again, this just tells me that they needed to get ahead of it because they knew at some point something was coming. And I think they were going to have a fake MAGA person assassinate Biden, which that would have started a civil war. And I think, hey, we need to play our card ahead of time. This is what we need to do. Trump has no say. He's told what to do. This is a military operation. And I'm sitting there saying, okay, it makes a lot of sense why the reaction of the crowd is off, which we can talk about later. The story doesn't make sense. He wasn't covered properly. I think we've been in a psyop for 8 years. And psyops aren't necessarily bad things.
Not longer?
I think I think the letter, the 17th letter, I don't know if we can say that on here.
You can say Q, it's fine.
Q
whatever.
is it's definitely a psyop. And it is longer, but I think, Greg, for most of us, it's 8 years that a majority of people since Q came out, mainly the last 4 years. And I sat there and said, okay, psyops are not always a bad thing if you got to win. And there's casualties in these war. And I don't mean they shot someone, and I'll get into that as well, how they dragged the body away. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I got footage of being like, that's not what you do to a crime scene.
Well, let's hone this in and go like bit by bit. And so like,
okay,
we talked about the Secret Service kind of raising up the fist and all this stuff, right? I shared a couple videos to Telegram, and I do want to play one of those real quick, okay? And anybody who's not on Telegram, get on Strange Sauna show, okay? Join me on Strange Sauna and join the chat, and I share a lot of different stuff. So this piece right here, where you see all of these photographers get ushered from the back of the stage to the front of the stage right before the shooting, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So right here, just watch this here. We don't even have to listen to it. But you see the Secret Service come over, talk to the reporters and even just fans saying like, hey, you guys got to move. Get out of the way here.
And he's crouching down already.
Chart.
And then right here.
Look what happens behind the scenes.
Boom, boom,
These
boom.
photographers for these major outlets were ushered from behind the stage to the front of the stage, where they ran around frantically, hardly even looking around at their surroundings to see if their head was exposed to snipers.
Right?
These photographers for major news outlets were pushed to the front of the stage by Secret Service moments before the shots rang out. This screams foreknowledge. Watch this footage of the photographers being rushed to the front of the stage by Secret Service.
What happened to our country? Probably
So this is the
20
shooting.
million people. And
He's like, sir, get out of here. You guys are going to have to move. Go move.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
And see, that right there is pretty interesting to me. I'm going to stop. But there was no footage from behind Trump, like his ear. He did a lot of like looking over that way, concealing the ear that got shot. And this guy who was talking, I think it was like Tim Truth or something. I want to give him some credit. It was like his channel on Rumble, Tim Truth or something. He was saying Trump was acting like a magician, pointing everybody over to the sign or over to the presentation, right? Saying, look over here. Look. Don't be looking at me. Don't look at my ear. Look at this chart. Right. You see that big red arrow? Look at the big red arrow. And everybody's going, oh, yeah. And then boom. And then you see him like slap his ear and then he goes down and no one really sees what happens after that. And I'm just saying like that to me, like, what do you guys think about moving all of the photographers to the front of the stage right before the shooting happens?
Highly suspect.
Yeah, they needed to get the shot, right? They needed to get all those shots that they got. Again, it's very everything's very suspicious here. Very much like when we talk about 9/11, where we can see it, and it's trying to explain to people that we're not shitting on. I'm not shitting on Trump here. I'm saying they try to get ahead of something, and they needed to do this, and they needed to get photographers at the front. They needed to get, and like you said, Greg, none of them are worried. Nobody in the crowd is frantic. There's people on their phones. There's people smiling. There's photos of the guy dead. that I have video, and you can see people just sitting there like this, and the guy's got his head blown off, and it's the same thing. And that's what I looked at, was the crowd reaction. I would have been George Costanza, you know, that scene where he throws the women and the kids out of the apartment. There's a fire.
Get out of the way.
I'm sorry, get out of the way. You know, that's how people react. If you saw the shooting in Vegas, people react like that. When you see a car backfire, people react like this. This is not how people react.
Right.
You know, and
But,
the reaction
but does
of
that imply the entire audience was in on it then? I mean, that's what would have to happen then.
I mean, listen, like I said, you need to mirror what the bad guys are doing. So at some point, you got to step up their game and be like, listen, we need our own version of a 9/11 without killing anybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, had to have the entire audience in on it, that's a little risky, because you're going to have squealers. People are going to say something, you know. And
well, I think the ones that really ducked and looked fearful are the ones that didn't know.
Mm.
And I feel there's a few that just didn't look like they were at all responding to it, and they're just sitting there like this. And
let me share this again, because there was a lady in the gray hat. Here, I'm gonna exit out of this screen here.
We've covered the entire.
So there was a lady, and this clip's kind of gone viral. This is a woman in the gray hat, right?
Yeah.
She's just sitting there recording Trump the whole time, but she's looking over towards the shooter.
No.
Yeah.
Watch this shit, dude. Watch. Watch. She sits down. Yep. Watch this. Puts the sign up.
Gets her phone ready.
Shots go off.
Boom.
She's completely normal. And then watch.
And then she's got her.
What the fuck? What the fuck? People are freaking out.
And she's filming.
And she's just like right there.
So watch this video. Here's another video of her the whole time. So watch, it gives you like a continuous
I
shot.
want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Down below. Look, watch the video down below. She has her phone. She's just sitting there recording. Look. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like she was ready for it.
Hold it right there, Greg, for a second. See the guy right above in the first square above?
Oh, yeah.
With that guy?
Vincent
He
Fusca.
didn't. Yeah, he didn't make a movement. And while Trump is going down, he's on his phone swiping. He's not recording. He's not scared. He's literally doing this. I have it in one of my videos, because I went and watched literally almost the reaction of everybody. I just went and watched everyone's reaction. And some looked scared, some looked confused. A lot of them were just not responding like you think they would. Again, that's not, and I did listen to a podcast with this one guy who's a psychologist, like he's just a military, I can't remember his name. I wrote his name somewhere, and he just said that's not how people react. There's something, majority of people don't react like that, you know, and, you know, from all this, you know, people be like, well, why would they do all this? And I'm like, because it does several things. It increased his support by about 60 up to 65%. We have people like Zuckerberg now sponsoring him. It's brought out, I have here more people open to support his campaign.
Is Zuckerberg sponsoring him, or did he just say that was badass?
He just said, you know, that's badass. Like he thinks about him, you know.
Yeah.
Elon is now supporting him. Hogan's obviously a patriot, but it's almost like what happened at 9/11 where people came together more.
Exactly.
We can see that.
Yeah.
And again, if that's what they needed to do, I get it. But it also exposes so much. It's got people's eyes now on the FBI, Secret Service, CIA, Homeland Security, the media. They've been exposed lying, said he fell off the stage, and now people will be like, that's not true. RFK Jr. now is getting Secret Service. You know, Biden said we're going to give him Secret Service. All eyes now, all the sheeple eyes are on this going like, So there's a lot. That's why I mean it's a psyop that helped a lot of things. Yes, it moved Trump up, but it exposed the fact that the media literally lied and said, well, he fell on the stage and there was noises, you know, and then you have people that are coming up to support him more. That, which, like you said earlier, Greg, every time they do something, he gets stronger and stronger. The deep state are not stupid people. Or are they?
And that's my point is like, so the deep state obviously would want Trump to win then, because they're trying to do this. I personally don't think it was I don't think there is a white hat and a black hat. I think it's all one hat. That's where I stand now.
Yeah.
You can call that black pilled or you can call that whatever, but I feel like it's all just ritual magic that both sides they're all part of one gigantic pool and they know how to use it.
Yeah.
There's just different ways to use the magic. There's like left brain, right brain. It's white magic, dark magic, whatever you want to call it. Right.
Right.
Now, when sticking on kind of like the shooting itself, is there any footage or anything that you wanted to show like right off the bat that I kind of skipped over or anything around that I didn't show?
I mean, I have this one thing here that was being shown. So hold on. I got to share my screen. So I'm seeing a lot of this. And they're saying this is the shooter, and this looks like the guy that was on the thing.
So
and this gentleman,
people just listening to this, we're looking at a photo of Maxwell Urich and then also Thomas Crooks side by side.
Yeah, yeah. And there's another photo where it says here, look, he's got the ear. You know, they put the big earlobes for the gauges.
Yeah.
For his earrings. So this is the shooter, and there's his earlobes, and here he's got none in his ear, which you know for a fact that would be the case. So.
But he does have scars, though. I can see, like, it looks like the gauges are out.
Yeah, but I think they would just be a lot more. Like, I just feel like...
Oh, like loose?
A lot looser. And I didn't look at this for this photo. I was looking at it for this right here, where I'm just... Like, you guys talked about brain matter yesterday and how quickly the blood dried and all this. And again, we can't always go by what the media is telling us because they're not going to tell us. They're going to put stuff up that they want us to see, and then usually, like Whiskey said, it's used to distract people. And I just feel like the whole Patsy thing and whatever, I really do feel that the White Hats had to use their own version of this. I personally don't think anyone got shot. That's just how I feel. I really feel because they wouldn't do a false flag to hurt somebody. And people are like, well, someone died in the stands. And I said, well, that's because the media has told us that. I didn't see anything on the news about him for almost 2 days. I still haven't seen a lot on this guy. You know, the way they dragged him out. Did you see how they picked him up and dragged him out?
The guy who got shot?
Yeah, in the head.
Yeah, Corey Comparador or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Which is strange because his initials are CC, which is 33. You know, that there's that Christ 33. So I'm just saying.
There is, and I know people will roll their eyes at us, but these people play with numbers. They play with dates. They play with the moon. That's how they harvest their energy. And they've used Christic actors all the time. The deep state has used it all the time. And who's to say that this wasn't the case? To make sure that we've got massive reveal. You know, it brought people closer to God. People think this is God's hand. Great. Because now people are being more spiritual about it. There's so much that's come out of this, taken away that if someone did or didn't get shot, that's come out of this that's made a lot more people aware. And one is people are now being, honestly, and I was talking to Ashley about this, being closer to God, being like, it was God's hand. Like, this is it.
Don't you feel like that's deceit? You're kind of tricking people into falsely believing in a narrative and using that as a way to usher them towards God. I mean, by any means necessary, the end does not justify the means. You know what I mean? Or the means does not justify the end.
It just throws fire on Trump's. This is throwing gasoline on Trump's image of a man of steel, his image of being Superman.
Well, what do you think, Whiskey? What were you going to say?
Okay, so yes, I mean I totally agree with what y'all are saying. This is they are trying to bring on, and this will go back a little bit, but ever since the beginning, they have been trying to usher in this Luciferian age, this they're trying to get the Antichrist and all that, and they're doing it by any means necessary, right? Good, bad, ugly.
So now, just to get your perspective, when you say they, are you talking about white hats, black hats, or are you saying they're all one team?
I'm saying everybody.
Okay.
Everybody. The white, the good, the left and the right, whoever that is. I believe that they're, two wings of the same bird.
Yeah.
They do have different motives and different it's like two different mob bosses trying to fight together. They come together on certain things because this guy's not doing the right thing, but they still hate each other. It's that type of thing. But what they've been trying to do from the beginning, from before Roman times, is usher in this new aeon, this antichrist energy, or this antichrist spirit that's coming in. And what's happening is they're doing it wrong because it's not right. It's not the right time. It's and they're saying, yes, he was mortally wounded. No, he wasn't. He was hit in the freaking ear. Like, come on, that's not a mortal wound. And yes, it happened on 6/11, which is biblical. But I can go in the Bible and find any other scripture and make it into a thing too. So
exactly,
it's one of those things. If you want to find real spirituality, you have to be in the book. That is the only way you're going to find it. Is being in the book and not looking on a screen, looking at these people on a stage, proclaiming, acting, doing their thing. And with the whole shooting somebody else in the crowd and somebody dying, you don't think that the powers that be, you think they give a crap about killing a couple people in the crowd?
Exactly.
They don't care about that. They could care less about killing one or two people. It makes it more real.
Yeah, for sure.
Like with a lot of these other events that have happened in the past. Las Vegas, for instance, there was some people that died there. Okay,
there's a lot that died there. Yeah,
you never hear about Las Vegas anymore. We actually went to Las Vegas right after the shooting. Of course, we don't watch TV, so it was one of those things. It was like 2 weeks after it, and everything was half off. It was awesome. But,
oh yeah, dude! My wife and I went to Mexico during bird flu, like in 2009. Everybody's like, "Don't go, don't go," and we're like, "We're fucking going."
Yeah, we're going.
We got up with everything. They're like, "You want the better hotel? You want the better flight?" I'm like, "Yes, yes, yes."
Yeah.
The media is being used on both sides to manipulate, and I think what happens is those that are, MAGA or the really strong Trump supporters just don't feel that one side could do this. And I'm like, but you know what, guys? If this stopped the election from happening, if they got wind that they were going to have a fake MAGA supporter, Looney Tune guy, go and shoot Biden weeks or a month before the election, that would have been their excuse to cancel it. So if this is what they needed to do to stop that,
maybe. I mean, there's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts right there, in that statement. But here's my thing is like, it just makes Trump stronger. He didn't need more support.
Yes.
He already was going to win this election. So it's like, why are we doing this? And to that point, I can kind of see where you're going. It's like, oh, well, they needed to get ahead of the playbook, right? But my whole thing is like, what is the playbook? Because this whole Q operation is talking about a playbook. And I'm saying, how do you know the playbook if the playbook is known? Is the playbook the Bible? Or are they trying to manufacture this end times prophecy, right? And if they are, they're contributing to the problem.
Yes.
That's the way that I'm seeing it. Like, even if it is the white hats doing this, the means don't justify the ends. Like, you have to be moral in what you do. And if you're going to kill people by faking a shooting here, that's not the way to do it.
Yeah. No. But I mean, if it means putting eyes on a lot of things now, like I was saying, the CIA, the FBI.
But they were already there, though. The eyes were already on the FBI and the CIA,
But a lot of the sheeple weren't there yet. And I think a lot of the sheeple now really are like, oh, he didn't fall off the stage, CNN. He got shot. So why are you saying that? Why is this happening? Why didn't we give Robert Kennedy Jr. Secret Service? He deserves it. So I feel it's to wake up people for whatever reason quicker. And I think what's happening is people like ourselves. Listen, I wish I wasn't awake to some of this. It's numbing. It's so numbing. Like, that's why we're just all up. But there's some people still that just haven't seen it yet. And that includes even people that support Trump being like, listen, he may not be who you think it is. There's a person in our group. We love him to death. And every time we chat in our group chat, I always say, are you prepared that maybe Trump might not be the person? You know, when are you going to realize that maybe it's time to trust in yourself, trust in God, trust in your family, do your own thing? That's why I left Toronto. I came all the way to BC. I just escaped all that.
Yeah.
That was the main reason. I just didn't want to be in a city with that vibration and being. I'm still in Canada, which is Canada run by China.
Yeah.
But I had to make that decision, right? Because that stress causes cancer and stuff. We know
sure.
that. Like, whiskey's just cancer survivor. He doesn't need to hear any of this. So I think it's an energy harvesting thing. It's to get a lot out that really, if you look at it, it solidified the election for him in my thing.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm not even sure Trump's going to win the election. I think that when you look at his popularity, of course he should, but I don't think that means that he will. And we all know why he probably won't, because there's certain issues that haven't been resolved, right? But
yes.
Like when you go to like the Q stuff and this revelation of the method, and you equate those two, that's what I think the Q movement really was. It was revealing the plan ahead of the time, avoiding that karmic debt, because it is about this energy harvesting, right? So they want to make sure that they give you this opportunity to be like, hey, I told you, see something, say something, be prepared during these whatever times, even though like the Q stuff never was really accurate with the timing. It's just, I don't know how people can't see it that way and only one way, as in, oh, these are the good guys telling us what's going to happen, so that way we're prepared for when it does. But I'm like, people are getting shot and killed. People are being injected with poison, telling you it's medicine, all for this plan. Right. And that's where I just can't get on board with this anymore. I'm like, dude, we have to walk through the dark to get to the light. This is like a Freemasonic fucking ritual straight up. Like, you can't tell me that we have to burn this down in order to rebuild it. The rising of the phoenix out of the ashes. You know what I'm saying? Like, this whole thing is about bringing in, and I agree with Whiskey. I think that they're trying to bring in a new age, and with that new age comes a new religion, and eventually we'll get there. No one's ready for it yet. Nope. But you have to get people on the side of Trump religiously. And this is a way that you do that. You say, whoa, he turned his head a few inches to the right, and if he wouldn't have done that, he would have been a dead man. And this must be divine intervention, right? You see that everywhere.
Right.
And so my thing is, they're using that immorally, in my opinion, to get a bunch of people to think that Trump was anointed by God.
Yep.
Yeah. And does that make him the false prophecy, right? Does that put him as the Antichrist? Like,
not necessarily. That alone does not. But I'm just saying, like, is that right or is that wrong? And that's the question that a lot of people have to ask, is like, I don't think that's right. But I mean, just kind of, and I know like we're kind of like going back and forth with like our feelings on Trump and just in general. But like, to keep it scoped to this shooting here, I do want to kind of talk about, like, since we're kind of talking about like the aftermath and the emotions and stewing, you had some clips on like Hulk Hogan, just the people's reactions afterwards. Did you want to show or share anything about that?
I mean, listen, I'm a big Hulk fan, but I don't know if you guys know about the Illuminati playing cards.
Oh, yeah.
And the Illuminati playing cards has a picture of someone that looks like Trump, and it said enough of enough.
Enough is enough.
On it.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, hold on one second. Just play this here.
Happened last week when they took a shot at my hero.
Oh, boy.
And they tried to kill the next president of the United States. Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
Yeah, so Flex, just real quick, you're getting some popping noises coming from your end. I don't know if it's your headphones.
Oh, okay.
But there's some popping as soon as you shared your screen. So I don't know if it was something that ended up there. I don't know. Maybe
But,
maybe it was a gunshot somewhere. I don't know.
maybe it was a gunshot. But again, you've got someone who's, his song is real American. This just got people excited, right? That's that energy harvesting that we talked about. Everyone's super, super pumped. Yes, he said the same line that they have in the Illuminati playing cards, and I look at it as entertainment now, which it's sad to say that because maybe the rest of the world is kind of like, what is going over on the United States? That's what's going on over here, because it's getting a little whatever. But this couldn't make you more patriotic,
Exactly.
By the hand of God, he was saved. Hulk Hogan's come out now. Elon Musk is like, I'm supporting him. Even Zuckerfuck or Zuckerberg, whatever he is like, I respect that dude, man. He's Superman and stuff like that. All the shirts that came out within 30 minutes after this happened. There was people already selling the shirts.
Yeah, there was a shot glass, like the shot
glass.
You know what I mean?
Yes. It's just like, you need what?
Yeah. So
you need to know ahead of time to get that stuff printed. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, unless you're that good, you know what I mean? There are companies that are that good. Yeah, I'm going to ask Flex if you can ditch the headphones because they might be interfering. They might be popping.
Okay.
They're causing something to happen here, and I'm hearing it on my end.
So you chat with them, and I'm going to ditch my headphones.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, it turns into, I don't even know how to really say it. It's like,
yeah, make sure to get close to that mic there. Whiskey.
Sorry.
There you go.
Let me get super close to it.
There we are. We can hear you.
No, it turns into like you don't know what to believe anymore, and so like you're just kind of turning your head the whole time, like what's going on, it gets everybody in this frantic panic, of like I don't know what to believe. Even the people who are fully what we call asleep or whatever you want to call it, it attacks those people, and they're like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. Did you see this? And it makes everybody talk, and then when they talk, it turns into a different conversation than you had even a week ago, which is the same thing that happened at 9/11. Like Flex was saying, it's the same type of visceral reaction that the world is having at this particular thing, and so it turns into like a spiritual event. Like everybody's gonna be like, where were you when Trump got shot? Like it's gonna be the thing. What
I've been noticing is that I've been coming to agree with more left-leaning people on this subject. And that's where I'm like, how am I agreeing with Joy Reid that this could be a staged event? Where do we have the evidence of the bullet? Do we have the projectile? Do we know what gun this guy was using? Do we know if anything, like, could it have been shrapnel? I mean, Christopher Wray was just on this hearing thing saying, we don't know if it was a bullet that struck Trump in the ear. Yeah. Right. And so
what I find interesting on that, Greg, is, hold on, I just lost can you hear me now though?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Yeah. I just lost my train of thought. So you keep going. Hold on. You were just saying something that made me think.
So where I was going is like even AOC was asking about like the perimeter, like the Secret Service chief that was, she stepped down, Cheadle, right? AOC had good questions. Like, how could you not set up a nice perimeter at least the length of the distance that an AR-15 can shoot from? You know what I mean? Because AR-15s are popular. Like, most shootings happen with, rifles or whatever. But I'm just like, how am I agreeing with these people that I have hated my entire life? Right? So I'm just saying it's making me question everything as well.
Yeah, and I find interesting when I see the left say this is a false flag on the right side, which is what the people from The View were saying.
Yeah.
But, then if they were to say and push on that, then the right side could say, well, you've done many false flags. Here's our proof. So it's almost like they want to say it, but they can't go into deep deep description as to why. The left can't say this was fake because of this, because the right side would be go, well, this was fake, and you did this was fake, and that was fake. So it's almost like they're trying to call out the right or the Trump situation, but they can't, because the Trump side will go, hey, man, you've done 9/11, Boston bombings, you've done everything.
And you're making my point, because just like Elon Musk, how we can't question him because he bought Twitter and he's doing this freedom of speech, not freedom of reach.
Exactly.
It's the same thing on the left, where you can't say that they're ever going to be right because they've been wrong so many times. And it's the exact same opposite, but flip-flopped, right?
Right.
And so that's where we're seeing like you can never go past these boundaries. And if you do, then you start falling into like a Trump hater. You start falling into like you're a libtard.
It's more division. This could cause more division. And something I wanted to ask you guys, I heard by several people saying that Trump literally went to New Jersey for a rally that evening. Is that true? Like this dude got shot in the ear and the hospital released him?
See, that's what I don't know. I don't think he went to a rally that night, but maybe he did. I know he went to a rally like the next day, right? Or like at least a couple.
I thought I'd heard. Sorry, I didn't know if you guys had heard that yet, and I couldn't find anything on it. I just heard it this afternoon when I was doing research.
I don't think that's right, because after the shooting happened, it happened on like a Sunday, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was like a Tuesday or something. I want to say Tuesday or Wednesday, where he went to an indoor rally. This was several days later. And this, I specifically remember the TV heads, whatever, Newsmax or whatever, saying, this is the first rally since the shooting and all this stuff. So everybody's hyped up.
Okay.
All right. So I don't think he would have been allowed to go do
No.
And that's my thing, is like, dude, you haven't even solved the issue. Yeah, Cheadle stepped down, but it's like, who gave the orders for Cheadle to do this shit, right? So I'm just saying, like, how brazen?
CNN was airing it, which they've never done. You know, like there's just a lot of things. And then you're going to have some people go, well, that's because the white hats are in control of CNN now and they want to expose things. And it's just like, I think at this point, like you said, Greg, and what I believe what you're saying too, Whiskey, is same bird, just different wing, or same wing, same bird, whatever the saying is. Yeah. And at this point, you really have to question everything. You have to question, and even if you are a Trump supporter, you got to question, maybe this was done to stop an actual assassination attempt on him. Maybe they were trying to stop something that a MAGA person might do it. He may have forced their hand in their playbook. It's got his popularity to go up. It's got eyes now on many different things.
But how would this specifically, like, how would this stop a real assassination attempt? Like, if this were fake, how would this
I just don't think they would try it again. I don't think in the short period of time between now, I feel that there was something that was going to happen between now and the election. And I've said to Greg, even you several times on the chat when you guys have your live shows, I don't think there's going to be an election. I think that one side is going to do something, so there's some kind of martial law, some kind of terrorist attack. Imagine if it was a Trump person, a fake Trump person doing this to Biden. This is how they get Biden out. This is how they bring Newsom in right away without doing any kind of voting on it. Just throw him in. That's where my head goes at, because I feel either it's that or Trump's popularity will be so great that if they tried to, you know what, again, they did in 2020, even the moderate Democrats, even those that were like, listen, I voted for him because I'm tired of what's going on, will go, this doesn't look fishy. So it's either going to be a real big...
This does look fishy, right? Yeah.
Yes.
They would be questioning it. Yeah.
Rhymes with cleat.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if we can say it on here, but because that hasn't been, like you said, Greg, that hasn't been even addressed yet. So maybe they're doing this to get Trump's number so high. I know it's immoral, but they get it so high that when and if they try to cleat him again, the election, they're going to be people that are like this. People that are awake to it now on the left side that did vote go, this doesn't make sense. And that's where maybe the military comes in and goes, okay, we have evidence now of this, 2020. Trump could have been and might be very well the very last president we ever had. I keep hearing that he'll be the last president, and that could have been whatever. So I think that's why it's all tied in, to get numbers up, expose people, I'm
Yeah.
not sure about if anyone got killed. I hope to God no one did. But you got to fight evil with evil. I know it's immoral, but it's just when I heard that a few years ago, and I go, this just makes sense to me that sometimes you need to be that in the middle ground and just be like, we need to do this. And maybe that's why the deep state people are like, well, this is fake, and they can't go, well, prove it because everything you've done is fake. Because now that opens the door to them. So
Yeah, it exposes their hand almost.
Exposes their hand.
You know what? I think that just my honest opinion, I don't think it was fake. I think real bullets were fired. I think people got killed. And I just don't think a bullet grazed Trump's ear. I just don't think that they would ever do that.
Yeah.
I don't think that this was a real assassination attempt. I think that when he went down, let me see if I have some footage of this. I have a couple videos here. So check this one out about the blood. And so like actually watch this one of this. This is just like a brief video of a Secret Service guy. The one closest to him, this guy with the suave hair here, kind of looks like a Stu Peters almost. When he is standing there, his foot, hold on a second here. Sorry. He just all of a sudden puts his foot up on this step. Right. But when Trump points out the big arrow, he goes, look at this chart over here. Look at this chart. And like, watch him raise his foot right there. See it?
Could be a signal.
So he's getting ready almost like, oh, Trump said the big red arrow. I'm going to put my foot up here because I know he's going to get ready. I'm going to have to rush the stage here soon. He was the first one to Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. He was.
Right. So he puts his foot up right when, and I'm just like, why would you do this all of a sudden? Because he looks like he just like,
he's ready to go.
Yeah.
He's ready to go. Same with Trump losing his shoe, and he asked for his shoe back. And then there's a video that I have where they throw his shoe off the stage. And then I'm like, why are you throwing his shoe off the stage? You know, and again, maybe there was something in that, a blood capsule. I don't know. I know people are going to be like, I'm probably going to lose a lot of friends now from, you know, our grouping.
Well, watch this. Watch this. Speaking about the blood, watch this.
Yes.
So this is a guy talking about the hat and how suspicious the blood is, right? So here we go.
Yes.
Pay very close attention to this hat here in this agent's right hand. Look at the hat, and I want you to look at the back of the hat. Do you see any blood on there? Okay, now watch this. Moments later, take a look at the hat. Do you see blood on it?
So it's dripping with blood, like oozing with blood. There was absolutely no blood on this hat, and then moments later, it is oozing with blood. So just keep on listening here.
Moments before.
Dry.
Moments later.
Oozing.
Notice the blood. Also, what I would like you to see is that Trump's right ear is bloody. And yet, if you look at the hat, the blood is clearly coming from the left side, appearing to start in this man's hand. What is going on?
Yeah, so like this is the left side of his hat because this has the American flag on it. There's no 9/11, right? 45, 47 is where he got shot on.
Yeah.
But the left side has the American flag, and that's how this guy's holding it. So you can see the left side, and it's dripping down. And I'm like, what are the odds that this guy has a shitload of blood coming on this hat?
Like what could be in his hand, right? This is very 9/11-esque. The more we get into it, the more things won't make sense. Like physics. Like, hey, that's the wrong side of the hat.
The ellipse. Yeah.
You know,
and so like, here's another collage of the ear. Let me move us out of the way. This gigantic picture of his ear. Where is the chunk missing? Like maybe here?
That's what I mean.
Right?
Like, if any of you've ever cut your ear, it bleeds. There's a lot of capillaries in there. It bleeds.
And the doctors reported 2 centimeters missing. I mean, maybe right here. Maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like where it's a little bit darker. But this is this guy who cut his ear. Like that's what it looks like, right?
Yes.
Where it
That's a lot of
splatters.
blood.
You know what I mean?
It splatters. Yeah, that's a lot of blood.
And so
you know, maybe the guy on the water tower was the real sniper, and they were like, "Hey, we gotta." I just feel they knew ahead of time either he was going to be taken out or Biden, and they were like, "We need to get ahead of this." stage blood. Yeah, I've used blood in my horror film as well. I noticed the blood just looked very rich in color, and I'm like, looks like a squid. I know.
Like, see how bright it is, right? Bright red.
And when he gets up, there's no blood on his face. And then when the Secret Service puts his hand over him, then there's blood on his face. Which, again, someone could say just got wiped on it, but...
It could have been. It could have been wiped. You never know.
Yeah.
But I'm like, there's no blood on his collar or on his hand. So it's like, if that thing popped...
Or in his hair.
Yeah, or on his hair, right? You'd expect blood to be all over the place, just like the soccer player or whoever this is. Whatever, if that's a rugby, I don't know. Football, who knows? So I'm just saying... It's very strange when you compile all this data and all this information, all of these pictures, video, sound bites. I mean, the multiple shooter soundbite thing, I think that's definitely possible.
Right.
I've heard some stuff about the Corey Compouture guy, and I get his last name wrong. I just don't know what it's, but I heard that he got shot from behind. So I honestly don't know. Like, people are saying like he got shot from behind, but he might have been in the trajectory of Thomas.
Did you see how they dragged him away? Like, if he's dead, he wasn't still alive. He was dead.
Yeah.
And they first of all, that's a crime scene.
Right.
It reminded me of George Floyd. This fake looking ambulance come by and they just picked him up, threw him on something. No, you've got the tent up. You've got the caution tape up. You're taking ballistics. Like, I've watched a couple of videos now of, actually last week I was filming with some people. One of them worked for the military, and they were talking about being like, yeah, in the military, there's a crime and we get RCMP, which is your version of the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be dragging this guy by his arms out.
I know.
And then people just sitting there. There's people, I've got video of people just sitting there like this on their phones. And I'm like, the guy's got his brains shot, So I think
that's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying.
And,
like, everybody, I feel like they were in shock. Shock is the only way to explain that. Like, oh my God, what the fuck just happened, right?
Right.
But to your point, if this guy just got shot, leave him there. Like, everybody get the fuck out of get away from this dead body. We're going to leave this here. We're going to investigate this, right?
You see how he left the shooter? They left the shooter up there. They took photos. They didn't do that with this gentleman. They dragged this guy away.
Immediately.
I got video of it, and he's just being dragged away. And there was one video where one guy was yelling out, "Where's his family? Where's his family?" I couldn't find that video. I think maybe Whitney shared it to me or whatever. And I'm like, what do you mean, where's his family? He was supposed to have ducked and covered his family. And then you got one person standing saying, "Guy's got a head wound. Where's his family? Where is his family?" So much happened that you're going to have people like us pick it apart. You're going to have people saying, "Oh, come on, guys." But again, we're doing this just to be like, guys, you can't take things with a grain of salt.
It doesn't make sense. It looks like they were trying to clean up their mess.
Yes, we can't affect time. You know what I mean? Like, time is a river and we're a rock in the middle of it. So things pass by and we get to see what goes past us. And in that moment when things pass us, we got to use our discernment and our judgment.
Yep.
We can't change it. I know a lot of people talk about looking Operation Spyglass or Looking Glass or whatever. And the White has control of it now and stuff like that. I mean, let's be honest. If that's the case, we'll never know about that shit. Yeah. This is real. Something happened here. It's fishy. Smells like bass. Something's going on.
Smells gross. Did you have that video footage, or did you want to share that, or
them dragging him?
Yeah, I mean, we can show that. I mean,
let me.
I'm gonna put
first,
this on
I'm
roll.
going to just show you this one here, guys, without any sound. I'll take the sound off. Actually, no, you can be able to hear it. Okay, now this is. I've watched this. There's just some people just sitting there on their phones. This guy's on his phone over here. Some people are just, hunched over. It just, to me, this guy's got his brain shot.
Can you turn it down a little bit, Flex? Are you able to turn the volume down? Okay, there we go. Yeah, because we
I'll
can't.
turn the volume off.
Yeah, because we can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's a lot going on here that doesn't make sense. Like, there's a couple people smiling. There's one guy on his phone. There's a guy that just had his brain shot. And, there's a little girl here who's just sort of looks over at the body. You'd have to find the video. And I watched everyone individually and I go, this to me is just not normal. And then if I can find the one where they drag the guy away, I'm just like, what? Like, how this, like right here, like, who drags a body like this?
Exactly.
And it's going to come up again. And I'm like, but who drags a body like this? This is a crime scene. There it is, dragging his body away.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I'm using my common sense here, being like, that's not how a crime scene's investigated. It's no different than 9/11 when they came down and started taking the steel beams out before the FBI could get to it. And they were shipping the steel beams off to China. Now, every Trump supporter and every patriot will go, yeah, I remember that, that's wrong. But they won't look at this and going, they're taking away the evidence. Maybe he did get shot from behind. And you're like, wait a minute. Like Greg was saying, how do you get shot from behind? But boy, oh boy, like, it's like, we got to be like, there should have been a tent up. There should have been, it's a crime scene. That whole thing was a crime scene. And they didn't go back to the next day to start looking up stuff. I heard the crime scene. Nobody went and actually started investigating to the morning after, being like, but again, that's the media telling us, and I don't trust anything they say.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, the first flag that we kind of just touched on at the beginning of this episode is like, we don't know who else is out there. Like, there could be multiple shooters, and everybody's just standing up, looking around, and be like, oh, they're just dragging off the dead body. Okay, well, I guess Trump's okay, and, you know, rally's over. Let's just go home. Like, the cops or everybody should have been like, everybody get out, go, 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 go. Right. Like, they should have had an evacuation plan, a triage plan. Right. All this shit just stinks, dude. Like, but yeah, this was a little show that we just put on, and we don't care what people do now. They can just go home when they're ready.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's very obvious. And it's just, you know, like I was saying, I'm not trying to insult people. This is not, if you're a Trump supporter, I'm insulting you. If he was told we need to stage this, or he was told put a blood capsule, but there is a real shooter that might be there, so let's get ahead of it beforehand. Maybe the guy in the water tower was the real shooter, you know. And to me, everyone says enjoy the show. It's a movie. Okay, so if we've been saying that for 4 years, and then I come out saying, hey guys, this is a movie, and you're going to shit on me for that, it's like, I'm going by what you guys have been saying for 4 years. It's
that's the problem, dude. I mean, that's what I've realized, is that the entire thing is scripted. And, you know, when you have a movie, both sides are aware of the script, and both sides have a role to play. So it's like, you can't expect somebody to be a savior if they're being part of this grand scheme. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I agree with what Whiskey was saying. You know, if you want to just remind us, Whiskey, again, about how, you know, just the religious impact of this, how you're just feeling like.
Yeah, I mean, it turns into a whole. They're trying to usher in a new thing, and it's not okay. They've been trying to do it for a long time, and it's not in their time. Like, it's very unfortunate. And
so, are you talking about like the Aeon of Horus?
Yeah, yes, and also they're trying to usher in the Antichrist, because that's what they, you know, the evil that's out there. And I would say both sides, whatever, it doesn't matter. There are good people in both sides of government. In government, there are good people just doing the role, right? But it is inherently evil. I would say from the beginning, you know, government was, I mean, look at Babylon. I mean, that was a government as well. So anyway, but what it turns into is, it's like, how do I say it? They are trying to usher in this Antichrist spirit, and they can't, because they don't have the tools to do it. They think they can, but they're working within their means. Well, it's not in their means. Unfortunately, it's not for them. It's fortunate for us, unfortunate for them.
So why do you say they can't?
Because they don't know the time, the date. They haven't heard the trumpets, and they know in the end, they know this, that they're not going to win either way. So what happens is they're trying so hard to get this thing finished for whatever reason, and that's, I mean, that goes back to bloodlines of the, you know, the royal bloodlines. That goes back to, you know, all the Tartaria stuff. I mean, it goes way back there. They've been trying to do this from the beginning to usher this in so that they can take rule over the world. Well, they already have pretty much have rule over the world. This is the devil's domain. The world is the devil's domain. He was given that. He is in bondage. Suppose some people say he's in bondage right now, and he's not able to go out and be loosed on the world. The 1,000-year reign, or whatever you want to call that. Some people are post-trib, mid-trib, past, pre-trib.
P. Diddy's got him tied up. That's why P. Diddy's got the devil tied up.
There you go.
Absolutely. But just like a mob boss sitting in jail, he's still doing some stuff, right? Because I feel like personally, if the devil was loose right now, it would be a lot worse than it is. We're talking everybody's dying. It's the worst fear you could think of. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring that upon. Why? I don't know. Because they, most of these people, you can get into the other realms of it. Most of these people, like look at Jack Black here recently, and Kyle Gass. These are people that are cool. Like everybody loves Jack Black, right? He's playing a part just like everybody else.
Whiskey, you look just like him.
I was gonna say.
Thank you. I'll take that. I don't know if I'll take that, but anyway, whatever.
How is this related to everyone's saying that this is all being done at a very fast rate because the matrix is collapsing, and they know their time. They know their time is up, which gets me excited on that. But I also get what's on the other end of it?
Yeah,
right?
so that's where I was going to say, what are they going to replace it with? And I think that Whiskey's on a right kind of angle here, because I kind of agree with that. I think that they're ushering in this manufactured prophecy to get rid of the Bible, because they're going to be like, hey, that was the last part of the Bible. We went through it now. Now we can move on. Right. And they go, oh, well, what's next? What do I believe in now? And they will give you something to believe in with a new God. And that's what I think they will bring by 2030. You're going to have aliens come down. They'll want you to worship the aliens, possibly Nephilim. I don't know.
I can't wait for the aliens to come down. Just take us away.
I mean, I'm going to tell you this. I'll be a martyr. It's fine. Let's go.
I'm with Whiskey on this, being like, listen, I'm good. Take me away. And at some point, like you were saying, Greg, their timeline runs. Or Whiskey was saying it too. I think we've all agreed to it. Their timeline is running out with this matrix, the collapse of it. But it's like and I used to fear about, like, I lost a lot of sleep over this, being like, what is next? And I go, I can only control what I'm doing today. I can't worry about the past, and I can't worry about the future, just to some degree. We hope it's a great future. You guys got kids. I don't, so it dies with me. But, how many generations are we away from this ever correcting itself? We don't know. We can just trust in God, trust in ourselves, trust in family, and maybe trust in Hulkamania. That's it.
I don't know about anymore. We'll see. Okay, well, yeah, I think we've covered a lot. We've covered pretty much everything. Do you guys have anything else that you wanted to touch on before we get out of here?
No.
Anything else?
I just want people, when they see this, not to be like, oh my God, you're a black pillar, or any of us are a black pillar. It's not about the pills. It's just about, we're taking what's in front of us. And I know there will be some people that might be upset, but again, if you're open to things, then you may not feel so crushed when things don't go your way, which is how I felt years ago. 2 years ago, I was 100% a Trump supporter. I'm 50-50 now, because I don't put anybody on a pedestal. I can't, and especially a politician. When did we ever put a politician on our walls? And it's getting a little dangerous, where we have to be, hey, America was great for those 4 years, from what you guys have said. I live in Canada, so during that time, America was better.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that was just his role to show, hey, this is what it could be, but we're not doing this again because Matrix is collapsing. Don't know.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that we should keep an eye on Trump. I don't know. And to everybody out there who's like getting offended by it, like, that's what this show is all about. Like, I want to talk about those conversations that offend people, because it's like, dude, like, grow up, like, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, and to your point, it's like, who is Trump bringing in on his next administration? Let's start looking at that, like J.D. Vance, and let's look at like Peter Thiel, who heavily funded J.D. Vance, and what is Peter Thiel into, and the surveillance programs. And like, now you have Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, all of these big surveillance tech giants backing Trump. And Trump was on camera back in 2016 talking about bringing in this digital surveillance card where everybody has this digital ID. So Trump is on board with this digital ID to help with voter fraud, right? Because that's going to be the excuse to get everybody this digital ID. It's like you get your own digital ID and we cure voter fraud, right? That's why that's why the border was left open. That's why he never finished the wall, because we needed this influx of immigration to sell the plan. You know what I'm saying? Right. So there's a lot to this where you have to look ahead and you have to be like, okay, well, who is he bringing into his administration? Who's backing him, giving him a shitload of money? And like, start there, because the money tells you everything to me.
You follow the money, and he surrounded himself with a lot of bad people. And again, you'll have the Trump supporters, the MAGA people say, well, you always surround yourself closest to your enemies. And I'm like, come on, guys, maybe it was bigger than he thought it was. If he was trying to drain it, maybe he's, like I said, playing a role, if you believe that that's what his role is. And like I said, whatever role he's playing, we're watching it, and you just got to take everything with a grain of salt. And just be prepared. You got to be prepared on your, have your whiskey ready to go, have your Strange Sauna ready to go, some water, some, kombucha. I'm drinking my kombucha here. And
there we go.
That's it, man. That's it.
Yeah. Be prepared, have the shit you need to defend you and your family.
They've been telling us. So some water, get some food, get some cash, maybe bars of gold. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. Who knows? All right, guys. Well, it's been an awesome discussion. Whiskey, thanks for coming on for the very first time. If you have your own podcast, Whiskey, tell us all about it. Where can we find you?
I have the Whiskey Shaman podcast, and I talk all things whiskey. I interview really cool whiskey people doing cool stuff. I just had who did I just have on? Good Lord, I forgot. I've got everybody.
I'm sure it was awesome.
Awesome people on there. I do, I'm really heavily on Instagram and stuff as well. So if you're into whiskey or thinking about it, get over here. Let's go.
Whiskey Shaman on Instagram. Flex, how about you, man? What do you got? Where can people find you?
You guys can find me at Flex Marks. I'm a certified strength and conditioning coach. So I'm training guys all over the world with my program. It basically is a monthly membership, and you've got workouts for the next 12 months. And I do coaching calls every month. We don't get political on that, that's for sure. And I'm just trying to help guys in their 30s, 40s, and 50s and beyond to get in better shape, mobility, and strength. And it's called the Freak Squad training, and that's what I do. Try to get people in shape.
Awesome. Better body, better mind.
That's
awesome.
it.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining the show, and everybody, until next time, sayonara.